Hey, it's Randy at Funeral Funds of America. In this video, I'm going to share with you the actual pricing for $10,000 worth of burial, cremation, final expense, life insurance, or funeral funds for a 69-year-old male. Now, first thing I recommend is you go directly to our website at funeralfunds.com, and you'll be able to find these quotas on just about every page. And all you need to do is just select the state that you live in. We're licensed in all 50 states, by the way. Select the coverage amount, put your birthday in there, the rest of the info, click Get Quotes Now. It'll take you to a page that's going to show you the best companies that have the lowest pricing based off your age, gender, and the state you live in. Take full advantage of that. It's a terrific resource. You can also call us at 888-862-9456, and one of our agents can help you understand your options and get you actual pricing. Now, one of the first things we recommend to a 69-year-old male looking at $10,000 worth of insurance is just figuring out if $10,000 is going to be enough for his final expense needs. Now, typically that final expense need would be either a cremation or a burial. Let's go ahead and just start with the two options for cremation. So the first option for cremation is where you just come home in a cardboard box or an urn, nothing fancy. That's going to cost on average between $1,000 to $2,000. The other option is if you are going to have some sort of a ceremony, like have that cremation and then have a remembrance ceremony or celebration of life ceremony or something like that. In most parts of the country, that's probably going to be $3,500 to $4,500, just depending where you live. But as far as coverage, for that first option where you come home in a cardboard box or an urn, we would typically recommend anywhere, and most people would end up getting between $5,000 to $7,000 worth of coverage. Now, you might be saying, well, Randy, you said the cremation's like $2,000. Why are we looking at $5,000 worth of coverage? Well, our 69-year-old probably wants to make it to 79 and perhaps even older. And we know that as time goes on, things get more expensive due to inflation. So all we're doing is we're just locking in some extra coverage at today's age to get the lowest rates. And we're just inflation proofing that plan with a little extra coverage. And that way, you know, if you live well into the future, your family members aren't going to have to come up with any money out of their own pocket. And the secondary benefit of that is if, God forbid, you die sooner than anybody thought, there's also a little bit extra money left over to pay for some unexpected, bills that might pop up, like maybe medical expenses, or maybe you had some credit card bills or something like that, that if given the gift of time, you would have paid those off, but you died too soon. So this can be taken care of as well. Now, if you're going to have that cremation in the ceremony, we would typically recommend, and people would normally get somewhere between $7,000 to $10,000. And again, that's inflation proofing the plan kind of for long term, and then short term, there's a little bit of money left over just to protect against other unexpected expenses. So it works really terrific for most people that way. Now, for a burial, the average cost of a burial in the United States right now is right around $10,000. So if you walk into pretty much any funeral home in the United States right now with a $10,000 check, they should help you get that done. If they don't, you can probably just walk out the door and walk 2 blocks down and find one of their competitors who would help you. But just understand the $10,000 is kind of the cost right now. That's not going to be anything fancy, and that's certainly not inflation proof. So typically, most 69-year-old males we would help would end up getting somewhere between maybe $10,000 to $15,000, sometimes up to $20,000, just depending how fancy and how extravagant you want things done when you do pass away. But you also keep in mind that if money's a little bit tight right now, just go ahead and get that $10,000. That takes care of your most immediate needs. And we can always come in later and add more coverage. We can help you add more coverage. That's a terrific way to get that done too. Now, once in a while, somebody will say, hey, I wanted to take care of my final expenses and leave my kids some money. So, like what's $50,000 going to be? And we get them the price for $50,000, and a lot of times just because of their age 69 and because they're on Social Security or disability, it's just a little bit, it's a little bit out of their ability to pay. So sometimes they go, well, if I can't do everything, I'm not going to do anything. And we have to just kind of have a reality check with them saying, hey, you came in here because you wanted to take care of your final expenses, your burial expenses, cremation expenses, whatever it is. And you wanted that done because we know you're going to die. There's no way of opting out of that. But you also want money for the kids. Well, what we'd recommend if money's tight, take care of your final expenses right now. Because again, we know you're going to die. We know your kids are going to need that. If you don't take care of that, If you say, hey, if I can't get 50,000, I'm not going to do anything. Now you have just forced your children to pay this for you. And they're probably going to have to put your final expenses, burial expenses, cremation expenses on a credit card. And they'll probably end up paying 26% interest on that and paying for that years and years and years. So don't do that to them. So what we recommend, again, is just get a final expense policy. And then if you want money left for the kids, we can always follow up later time and write a separate policy that would be dedicated just going to the children. And that works really terrific. Now, if financially it's not an issue for you, sure, we can write that all together in one policy. But writing two policies does give a fair amount of flexibility that most people appreciate. Now, one thing we always recommend is getting first aid coverage or benefits. We do not recommend those 2-year waiting period plans, and we'll get into that in just a moment. But first aid coverage is really important. What that means is that if your policy were issued and approved as of today and you died tomorrow, the insurance company would have to write out that check for $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, whatever the coverage amount was. And that's going to be the best coverage. It's also going to have the lowest pricing. But we do get some people that say, hey, Randy, you're right. I do like that first aid coverage, but I'm not in the best of health, and I'm worried I won't qualify because I know they ask health questions. And we say, well, your health really is our concern, not yours, at least in reference to the insurance. And the reason we say that is we work with a whole bunch of different insurance companies. They all ask different health questions. They all have different underwriting. And right now we're getting right around 95% of the people we help approved for first aid coverage or benefits. Now, really the only reason you wouldn't get approved for first aid coverage is if you waited too long and you had some pretty significant health issues going on, like maybe you had a terminal illness and you were going to pass away in the next 12 months, or you had dementia, or you're on dialysis, or you were in a hospital or in a nursing home, something like that. If that were the case, we'd typically refer you out to a different insurance company. What also seems to happen on a weekly basis is somebody will call us up and say, hey, we had a family member pass away this last week and they didn't have any insurance. We don't have any money. And now their body's down at the funeral home, and the funeral home director is not going to do anything until he gets a check in his hand. So we need to get this insurance really quick so that we can get money in our hand to pay the funeral home director. We have to let them know that there's no insurance company in the United States that's going to issue a policy on a dead person, right? You actually have to be alive to qualify for the insurance. You can't wait until somebody dies to do this. And it's really unfortunate that they had a family member pass away, but it's doubly unfortunate that they didn't care enough to get this done. They knew they were going to die someday. They knew this insurance was out there. They probably thought about it and never did it. And they just put it off until one day they just went and died. And it's really sad. It's really sad because now their family members are probably going to have to put this on credit cards and pay 26% interest, and it's going to take years to pay off. So don't let that be your legacy. You could have done everything else in life right up to this point. You mess up this one last thing, and that's how people are going to remember that you burdened them with a burden that was not theirs to bear. So don't be that person. This insurance is affordable. If you need to, we can help you start at a smaller amount. We can always help you add more coverage. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we do not recommend the plans with 2-year waiting periods. And, Colonial Penn's a fairly well-known company out there. I think it's just because they advertise their $9.95 plan so much. Seems like they're running those ads like every 7 minutes on television, it seems. But yeah, in case you didn't know, their $9.95 plan, that is a 2-year waiting period plan. Yikes, right? Yuck. That's not what you want. You should never settle for a 2-year waiting period plan if you qualify for first aid coverage. Just absolutely run for the hills if somebody's offering you a 2-year waiting period when you can qualify for first aid coverage. And we can help you understand, if you do in fact qualify. But yeah, so Colonial Penn, they're not the only ones that offer those 2-year waiting periods. There's other companies out there too, like Mutual of Omaha, their United of Omaha line, AIG, Gerber, just a few of them. There's just a whole bunch of other different companies that's all they offer is 2-year waiting period plans. And some of these companies have done an amazing job of convincing the American public that if you're over age 50, the only thing you can qualify for is a plan with a 2-year waiting period, to which we always say, don't believe such nonsense, because we help people with first aid coverage all day long. Now, our 69-year-old male, he probably just got done watching one of those Colonial Penn commercials and probably thinking, man, that $9.95 plan, that's a pretty slick commercial. You know, I at age 69, I'm feeling pretty good for $9.95. I'm probably going to get $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, maybe even $50,000. And then our 69-year-old male calls Colonial Penn, talks with one of their agents, or goes and looks at their website, like we're doing for you here, and sees that for a 69-year-old male, 1 unit of coverage, it's going to be $9.95. That's only going to provide $724 worth of coverage. Ouch, right? So, you know, $724 isn't even enough to cover the cost of a basic cremation throughout the United States, much less a burial or any sort of ceremony. But even if it did, it doesn't matter because it's got a 2-year waiting period. It's not going to pay out in the first 2 years if you die of a health or medical reason. So why would you ever get a plan just because it's $9.95, you know, for like $724? It's not going to cover any of the needs that you want taken care of. Now, there's some people out there that would say that companies that offer these like low teaser rates, they do so not because they want to sell you like the lowest price plan, like $724. They don't do it to do that. They just do it to get your information, and then they can get you in their marketing funnel. And then when they talk with you, they can show you how measly, how minimal that coverage is. And then they will try to upsell you to more expensive coverage that's more profitable for them. Now, we would never say Colonial Penn would do anything like that, but you know, some people may say that. I guess you'll just have to kind of make your own judgment based on the fact that $9.95 is only going to get you right around $724. Now, for this this video, we're trying to get $10,000, and if we go 10 units times 724, that's just going to be $7,240. So I think we're probably going to have to be like 12, 13 units, maybe 13 units. No, that's not even enough. We're running out of room here because Colonial Penn, they max out at 15 units, but we got there just barely with 14 units. But you'll see, you know, most other insurance companies, you can get $10,000 worth of coverage. With Colonial Penn, they charge per unit. That's the way they can charge that $9.95 because that's 1 unit. But you always end up with these wackadoodle numbers like $10,136 when you're kind of doing this by units. But that's around $140. So let's do this. Let's go look at first day coverage and see how much money we can save because it's going to be substantial. Here we go. So we got 10,000 male, age 69 right there. We're going to get quote. Let's go back and take a look here real quick. Again, this is right around 10,000 for right around $140. And look at this. I want to go up and show you again. This is $10,000 right here. And that's going to be right around $65. So, you know, if we doubled 65, that'd be $130. And Colonial Penn's 140 essentially. So this is very normal that Colonial Penn, we routinely see them being roughly 200% more expensive than our lowest price first day coverage plan. So you got to ask yourself, this is 65 minus 139. That's roughly $75 a month more. I just rounded some numbers, but that's roughly $75 more a month. Now with Colonial Penn, you are going to pay that roughly $75 more a month for every month. You're going to overpay that every single month for the rest of your life. And you're going to get socked with a 2-year waiting period. So why would you do that? I mean, let's do the math on that. If it's $75 more a month, roughly, times 12 months, that's roughly $900 more a year on an annual basis that you would be paying. And if our 69-year-old male lives to age 79, you would end up overpaying roughly $9,000 by going with Colonial Penn versus one of our first day coverage companies. And this, when it says level here, that means first day coverage. So why on earth would you ever get into a plan that's going to sock you with a 2-year waiting period that if you live 10 years, you're going to overpay $9,000 roughly on a $10,000 policy? Why would you ever do that? You know, I guess that's what slick television advertising, I guess that's the effect it has on people. But yeah, you need to be a smart consumer. I mean, man, keep that $9,000 in your bank account rather than transferring your wealth over to an insurance company's bank account. So we just never recommend overspending. And you just need to be a smart consumer. And if you're not a smart consumer, that's okay. We can help you be a smart consumer and help you save a lot of money. So let's look at some other companies over here too. We're roughly 65. Here's one like Lumico. We see them. They're like $6 more a year, $6 more a month, roughly. So $6 times 12 months is roughly $72 more a year. And you may go, oh, that's not that bad, $72. Well, you're basically overpaying 1 month's worth, right? That you shouldn't. But after 10 years, that would be $720 you'd overpay. And you may go, well, that's not that bad. But think of this another way. I mean, if you were walking down the street on a public sidewalk, would you ever just like pull your wallet out, pull $720 out and just throw it on the sidewalk and walk away and let other people pick it up? Of course, no, you wouldn't. Why would you do that with an insurance company? So always let us help you get the lowest pricing. Let's take a look here. Let's try to find some other companies. And you'll be able to see all these companies. Oh, here's one. Lincoln Heritage. They're a fine company, I guess, but look at that pricing. Wow, that's about $20 higher a month. It is level coverage, first day coverage, but yeah, it's like $20 higher a month. So what Lincoln Heritage says they'll do is they'll say that when you pass away, they'll supposedly call 2 or 3 funeral homes to like get the lowest pricing, maybe do a couple other things, but they charge for that. They don't do that for free. So if that's $20 more a month, 84 versus 60, just roughly $20 roundabout. So that'd be $20 a month times 12 months. That'd be an extra $240 a year, roughly. And if our 69-year-old male lives to age 79, that'd be roughly $2,400 you'd be overpaying after 10 years. So think about that. Is it worth paying an insurance company an extra $2,400 roughly to make 2 or 3 phone calls and do a couple other things that only take an hour or so to do, perhaps? Right? So a lot of people would say, that's a great payday for the insurance company. But again, would you just throw $2,400 on the sidewalk and give that money away, or would you rather keep that in your own pocket? We recommend you keep that in your own bank account rather than transferring your wealth over to the insurance company's bank account. So what we do at Funeral Funds of America, and what we would recommend is let us help you get the lowest pricing. And then we provide a free funeral and estate planning guide. And you can download that off our website for free and then print it out. And once it's printed out, just fill it out. Write down who gets what goes where, and what you want done after you're gone. And then keep that with your insurance policy. And then when you pass away, everything's in one place, and your family will know exactly what to do. And they'll have the money to take care of it because you protected them financially with the life insurance. But they'll also be protected emotionally because you've got this funeral and estate planning guide. And all they'll need to do is open that up and read what you said, and they'll know exactly what to do. And they'll have the money to pay for everything to do it. And they'll know that you not only loved and protected them in life, but you loved and protected them that one last time in death when you weren't actually around, and you took care of this in advance. And they will know that you loved them. There was no end to the love that you had for them. What a wonderful legacy to leave behind. So if you'd like to leave that legacy, go to funeralfunds.com. We've got a special quota for our YouTube visitors, funeralfunds.com/YouTube. And you can get the best companies at the lowest pricing and best special discounts. We highly recommend you take advantage of that. You can call us at 888-862-9456. One of our agents can help you over the phone, answer any questions you have, help you understand what you qualify for. But if you've got an existing policy and you want to see if we can help you save a lot of money on that, or you just want to add coverage to it, we can help you out with that. If you're looking for a brand new policy, or you just have questions about what might be best for you or pricing, we can help you out with that. But we look forward to helping you get the most amount of coverage for the least amount of money. We will be blessed to help you with this at some point in the future. Until that day comes, you stay safe, you take care, you have a nice day. Bye-bye.